Alright, tubes, got something pretty interesting here for today. I wanted to share with you guys my latest motor vehicle acquisition. This one being a 2000 Mercury Mountaineer that I just picked up. Now some of you guys may remember about, I would say about a year and a half to 2 years ago, I had a 2000 Ford Explorer that I made a couple videos on. And that particular truck, when I got it, this truck here was actually the inspiration that made me get that truck. At the time, I wanted to buy that and build it up and pretty much end up making it look like this exact truck here. And things just didn't pan out with it. I decided that it was two-wheel drive. It really just wasn't the right starting point. So I ended up selling that truck. But fast forward to the present, about 2 years later, and this exact truck actually ended up coming up for sale. And so I decided, man, I can't pass it up. I got to get this thing. And so I did. So as I mentioned, this particular truck is a 2000 Mountaineer. It's V8, all-wheel drive, and I believe they call this the Monterey edition. I'm not a Mountaineer connoisseur, but I think they had the Eddie Bauer, they had the Limited, the XLT, and then this one is the Monterey. And so what exactly that meant for the truck at the time of it being brand new, I'm not exactly sure. There's your Monterey decal. But I'll show you guys exactly what this truck's got, because it is pretty loaded in terms of what you could get in the year 2000. This truck's pretty much got it all. As mentioned, this one is equipped with the classic 5-liter Ford V8 pushrod engine. I believe that translates to 302 in terms of cubic inches, but it's a good engine. I had good luck with the one in my Explorer. This one, as you can see, has been in the woods a little bit, so it's a little dirty under here, but nothing some Scotch-Brite and degreaser can't clean up. Truck does have factory fog lights. I know it's not a particularly noteworthy feature, but if I remember correctly, the absolute base model of this truck, the XL or the XLT, or whatever the lowest of the low is in terms of Explorers, and actually probably all the Mountaineers had fog lights, but if you went down to the Explorer, the base model of that, I think they actually didn't even come with fog lights. In terms of interior, the truck is perhaps a bit sparsely populated in terms of modern day vehicles, but for the year 2000, this truck's pretty much got everything you could have thought of. On the steering wheel, you got cruise controls on the one side, and on the other side here, you actually have not only controls for your radio, but also your temperature. This particular truck actually has the digital HVAC controls, so instead of having 3 knobs here, you just got a little LCD screen and a couple buttons, and you basically just command the desired temperature, and it'll do whatever it needs to do in order to get you there. As you can see, this one's been upgraded with a Pioneer head unit. We took the old original radio out of this truck and swapped this one in. I think the old one just failed, and rather than getting a factory one, we figured we'd just throw one of these in here. And of course, there's nothing that screams luxury quite like fake wood trim. A couple other noteworthy options inside the truck. It's got this information console here. It'll give you a couple different readouts here. Miles driven, I guess that's like a trip meter. Miles to empty. Gallons to empty, gallons used, and then your average mileage 10.8. We'll see how that does once I start driving it. Hopefully I get a little better than that. And then I think, I don't know what this system check does. I guess it just tells you, it gives you oil life, so it figures out whatever. I don't know how they figure out oil level. Engine temp, washer fluid. I don't know how they figure out some of these, because there's definitely not a sensor for washer fluid in this truck. But either way, back in the year 2000, man, this thing was fancy. Listen to them beeps. I just reset it by accident. That's okay. And then last but not least, you got your classic Explorer overhead console, which I actually bought one of these a while ago to retrofit into a Ranger, but never got around to it. But now I got my own truck with it anyway. Well, last but not least, on our interior here, we do have Mountaineer branded nice plush pleather seats, and he actually picked up a set of covers here, which they match relatively well. They're a little bit lighter, but they're pretty good here. If you just looked in through the windows at first glance, you probably wouldn't even notice, but it's something you got to have, because over the years, we're talking about a, 20-year-old truck, and the leather just starts to wear out. My 2000 Explorer was actually a lot worse than this, but in any case, you got these covers here to kind of help preserve them a little bit. Oh, and it's got electronic seats in here, so you got your rotation here. That's not electronic, but that's for your bolster. And then I think you got up, down, or that's front and back, up, down, and then various pitch and yaw and other things here. And then this is just your, I can't really adjust it right now because there's tension on it, but this is just your seat tilt. Moving on back to the exterior of the truck here, I think we're pretty much covered in terms of factory features. But one other thing I just wanted to point out about this truck, other than these 2 dents right here, and there's one big dent on the front fender here. You can see right here there's two pretty sizable dents there. I think he hit a tree or something, but beyond that, the truck's actually in really good shape. The paint's just held up really good. There's like no dents along the whole side of this truck, and really hardly any rot or rust either. You got a little bit of rust down here on the bumper, which is, I mean, bumper rust is nothing to worry about. The only thing that's a little bit worth worrying about is this right here. That's the only spot on the whole truck basically, and the frame's pretty good too. But, I mean, just look down the side of this truck. I mean, for a truck that has been in the woods as much as this truck has, this truck's just in unbelievable shape. Now, I'm sure most of you guys came to see this video was for the mods we've done to this truck, so I'll just go over the mods real quick. And again, I think I mentioned, but in case you guys didn't pick up on it, this truck actually belonged to a buddy of mine. I helped him with a lot of the mods, like the tires here. These are 265 75 16s. Cooper Discoverers, and the tires, I actually sold them. I just had these lying around, and then the rims were actually off my green truck. So the whole tire wheel setup off this truck actually was at one time destined to be on my Rangers. In order to clear those, we did a torsion lift, and I've got actually a really good video I'll link up here telling you guys all about torsion lifts, and actually showing some examples on an Explorer. So we just cranked up the torsion bars in the front, and all in all, I think we got maybe 2 to 3 inches out of it. And when you factor in these tires, it doesn't really look like there's actually any more clearance because there's bigger tires on there. But the truck, compared to stock height, it does sit quite a bit higher. Then in the back of the truck here, we just did a classic shackle lift. It's the easiest method with these things. It's so easy to just replace the shackles. These were, I don't even know where he got these shackles from. But for the shackles and pretty much anything else that's on this truck that we're going to get to, I'll put links down to the description for Amazon so you guys can at least get an idea where you can find this stuff. Tint wise, I think this is a 20% tint he's got on here, and the whole thing about tint is it all depends on the light you're looking through. Like right now the camera really doesn't look dark at all. I mean, it's really not. But you go like from a different angle when the sun's shining, like right here, it looks way darker than it really is, and in person I can see through to the seat a lot better than you can on the camera. But at any rate, tint, it really does cool the truck down a lot in the summer, and it does make the truck look good too. Looks real good. The tint on the back here is whatever it was from the factory, so essentially what he did is he just matched the tint from the factory on the front windows here. Then up top of the truck here, we did this 30-inch light bar, and at the time we installed it, it was just the light bar and not the roof rack on the back. And it looked a little awkward at the time because it's a 30-inch, so it's not as wide as the truck. But once we installed that roof rack, it actually looks perfect because it's a little bit thinner than the rack, but with the perspective looking at it with the rack a couple inches behind it, it looks like they're the same width. So that ended up being the right size light bar, to be honest. And then the roof rack on the back here, this is, in my opinion, the perfect size roof rack for this truck because it's pretty much exactly the same length as the factory rack. So it's not like it's awkwardly overhanging too far or anything, and you know, it really, what you're going to use this for is like a spare tire, or you know, if you're traveling, you got a big bag of stuff up there, you're just going to tie it down. So you don't really want anything that's like a huge monstrosity up there. But I think this is, in terms of being fitted to this particular truck, I think you really couldn't have done a better job with that. And he picked that out, my buddy. I didn't have anything to do with that. I think he got it for Christmas, and he threw that thing on there, and it turned out nice. It just clamps to the factory bars, but you know, it's solid. I don't think it's meant to hold a whole heck of a lot of weight. I wouldn't put, you know, 500 or 600 pounds up there. I don't know what the limit is, but that's whatever that is, that's another Amazon purchase. Same thing with the light bar, and again, I'll put links to all that stuff down in the description. You guys can check that out. But anyway, I think that's about going to do it for this video. I just wanted to give you guys a walk around of this thing, show you the truck, because it is a nice truck, and it's, like I said, at least in my opinion, maybe it has something to do with the fact that I influenced a lot of the decisions. But I think it's a really well put together truck. It looks great. It's not, nothing about the truck is obnoxious. It's just got a nice stance, but not an overly aggressive stance. That's another thing I was going to mention. These wheels and tires, again, these are rims off of a Ford Ranger. But I'm not sure if it has something to do with the back spacing or just these wider tires. But whatever it is, the fitment is really good. I'm not a big fan of the look of the tires that stick out real wide. I like them to be pretty flush, and they couldn't get much more flush than this. A lot better than I had another set of rims on something, I forget what it was, but they were the same size tires, but for the particular truck they set in too much and they just didn't look good at all. So this is perfect in my opinion. But anyway, I think we pretty much covered everything here. So if anybody has any questions, certainly do not hesitate to put them down in the comments section. I will try and get back to you as soon as possible. Check the old description for links to the. I'll put everything I can find. I don't know about tires on Amazon, but definitely that light bar came from Amazon. That roof rack came from Amazon, and I think those seat covers he's got in there, they might have been Amazon too. So I'll put some stuff down there for you guys. And in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked what you saw, and we will see you guys in the next one. Alrighty, see you, tubes.